Hank, you're chasing a train in North Jersey. What do you got?
Bill, it's a situation that no one wants to see. The ones like the train derailments last month in Lynchburg, Virginia, and in Maryland. The one in Virginia dumped tons of flaming crude into the James River. The same kind of big trains that derailed there, however, roll right through Bergen County. A lot of people live in Bergen County.
There are houses all along the rears that abut the train tracks here. So as far down as the eye can see.
Bogota Mayor Tito has more than 3 decades in emergency services and serves as Bogota's emergency management coordinator. He says the trains rolling through town carrying oil and more sensitive chemicals present vulnerabilities that are difficult to prepare for.
You know, if you sat here with the guidebook when the train went by as to what the chemicals are that are passing through here and the oil that's coming through here,
right?
You know, it's pretty scary that if we had an accident of that magnitude, you know, depending on which way the wind is blowing, we're talking about thousands of people having to evacuate.
Bogota has a long list of emergency plans, personnel, resources. It's just that some potential situations, like for instance a chlorine spill, are much too much for a small town to handle all by themselves. CSX runs those railroad lines that go through town and the ones where the derailments happened in the south. They say they've introduced technology enabling first responders and officials to be able to track freight shipments in real time on the rails where they are, when they are. They also support industry calls for newer, stronger tanker cars built to higher standards. CSX also says they're introducing new training and information programs for first responders with a rolling classroom that would educate about 6,500 emergency responders a year. So they're definitely taking actions.
To me, I hear the excitement of the fact that, you know, America on this path to energy independence, when we have become the #1 producer of natural gas in the world, one of the consequences of that is you got to ship it. And I hear low-cost energy, I hear all these positives, but I guess my question is, who is responsible? If a tanker train in Bergen County goes off the rails, is this something the state would respond to, the federal government would respond to? I mean, what happens?
Well, the county has emergency management programs and personnel. The town of Bogota, which only has 10,000 people, has its own personnel and resources. But that's the mayor's point, is that if something like that happened in Bogota, it could happen further down the rails in Ridgefield Park. And it's not a local issue at all. You're talking about a regional issue. The state would certainly become involved.
I agree with all of the great things that you've said, but the residents in these communities can literally do nothing to protect themselves. They're at the mercy of the rails. They're at the mercy of the companies. So we need to make sure there are regulations in place. We need to make sure there are safety measures in place. First responders are great, but let's make sure it doesn't happen.
Things have to run on the rails. You're talking about 200-300 trucks worth of cargo on one train. There's no other way to transport that much stuff. We have to live with it, and if you want to pay a reasonable price for gas, this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. We just want to make sure the rails are safe.
From what I've read and heard, oftentimes when there is a derailment or an accident, somebody's not following the rules. That was at least the case in the last couple, propane explosions on these trains. So I think it's a question of who polices it and how and what is the financial interest in the companies to make sure that the trains don't go off the rails. Certainly they don't want an accident.